Hey guys, so I got this BMW M3 mirror here, and as you can see, this is aluminum right here. See, this is aluminum, this is plastic. So what happens, a lot of cars, this part of the mirror is aluminum, and it gets this like real corrody situation going on. It bubbles up, and all the paint flakes off. So I'm gonna show you in this video how to fix this. All the steps, so take a good look. Here is the before, and just so you're not wasting your time, guys, I'm gonna show you the after right now. There it is, guys. Just so you know what you're getting yourself into with this video, I'm gonna zoom right in on this. Look how good that looks, guys. It looks incredible, guys. So if you want to know how to paint every single step of painting and how to fix aluminum, this is the video for you. Okay, let's go back into the past, guys. Yeah, it looks incredible. Very happy with that. Okay, guys, you've seen it. So I'm gonna show you how to fix this in this video. It's actually a lot easier than you would think it is, as long as you know the right steps. So let's get started right away on this, guys. Step number one, you're gonna need some masking tape. It has to be Automotive Painter's masking tape. Step number one. Okay, guys, I always see people making this mistake. If you're gonna do any kind of body work, the first thing you have to do is whatever you don't want scratched or damaged, like the glass, you have to take the masking tape and you tape it up. It's the first step. You do that to your trim on your car, anything you're painting or you're doing, that's what you gotta do. So let's tape her up. Really nothing to it. Grab some 2-inch tape, right? And you just tuck it under like this. See? Put it on. Grab a little screwdriver. Make sure it wraps around the back. So just like that, you're gonna do the whole mirror. I'm gonna fast forward to that part right now. Okay, step number one done. She's nice and taped up. So now if we're sanding anything, we're not gonna accidentally scratch it. Okay, obviously now what you're gonna do is anything that you can remove, screws, a rubber thing on your mirror, it doesn't matter what kind of car you have. So we're gonna remove all this. All right, so now all this crappy corrosion stuff, just gonna grab a screwdriver, scrape it all the way on the inside, anywhere that stuff's flaking off, you know, just peel it off best you can, just so you can see what you're dealing with. So I'm gonna off camera do that to all of this right now. That's step number whatever we're on. Okay, guys, so I cleaned it best I could, as you can see. Scraped off any flakiness. So now I'm just gonna grab some masking tape, because this is plastic. If your whole mirror was aluminum, you wouldn't have to worry about it, but I'm just gonna wrap the plastic up nice and close to the aluminum, get it? So just so when I'm sanding this, I don't scratch the plastic. Okay, let me just tape that up really nice. Okay, so now I'm grabbing some 40 grit sandpaper. This is really rough stuff. So I got a little piece, and unfortunately by hand, you're just gonna have to start sanding this until it's perfectly smooth. You can sand it like nice and high. You have to get this down to nice clean aluminum. See, it's already getting there. It's honestly not bad. So you might sit here on a lawn chair for 20 minutes looking at people walking by, sitting here going like this. You don't want to breathe this stuff because it's aluminum. I'm gonna put a mask on as soon as I get off the video here. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that. See you in about 15 minutes. Okay, guys, that honestly took like a half an hour to do this. I'm gonna pull the tape off. I'll show you what it looks like and I'll show you what's next. Okay, so see, there it is. I sanded it to the point where any of the corroded stuff is gone. It looks very good. Everything's nice and smooth. See? I'm happy with that. It did take forever. So on the inside, I didn't bother with this too much, but I did get the edge here, and I even got on the inside of the edge so it wouldn't creep out. Pretty good, right? So now we're gonna grab 320 grit, and obviously if there's any rock chips or anything, you're just lightly gonna scuff this, right? Like that part, see, just like that. That's what you want for paint. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go, like I'm gonna spend about 10 minutes on this. We're just gonna go around and we're gonna get all this aluminum nice. See what I mean? All around this edge in the back here. And then in these little like crevices, see, there's like where it goes from aluminum to plastic. I will fold this in half. See, and just, you wanna really get everything. You gotta get this whole thing flat. See, just like that. These transitions need to be nice and smooth. And we're gonna just try to smooth out the aluminum as much as we can, but we don't have to go too crazy here, guys. Deep scratches are okay on this. So I'm gonna scuff this whole thing up with this. Don't scuff this with the sandpaper, like any kind of edge. You don't wanna burn through if you don't have to, meaning you don't wanna scrape away the original black paint anywhere that you don't need to. I will show you how to like get in there and do that part. You use a different piece of sandpaper, not this. For now, just the flat areas we're gonna scuff up. Anything with an edge, I will show you in a few minutes. Okay, so here it is. See, everything's nice and scuffed. 320 grit sandpaper. This is all nice and smooth. So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this. You can get these at any automotive paint store. It's a red Scotch-Brite. This is the equivalent of 320 grit sandpaper. These are great for going around corners and edges. You can scuff a whole car with these and paint it, and it turns out great. See, and then you just go around, you finish it off, right? And then in here, see, look. It all has to be like that. You can get right in there, see, look. Without burning through to the plastic. Anywhere that you burn through, if there's a spot that's burned through from a previous owner or you sanded too much, when you go to paint it with the final paint, it will have a funny texture to it. Everything's gonna have to get primed. I will take you through the steps, but my next step now is to scuff this whole thing up with this pad perfectly so there's not one shiny part of it, because shiny paint, new paint won't stick to it, it'll just flake off. So I'm gonna do every single little nook and cranny that I missed with the sandpaper with one of these. You guys can take a screenshot of this, show them in the store, and they'll know exactly what we're talking about. Okay, I'm gonna go clean this up off camera. Okay guys, so there it is. As you can see, there's not one part of it that's shiny. It worked super good. So the next thing we gotta do is, you're gonna need an air compressor. One of these is about like $150. Just buy one, do it the right way. So you need one of those, a hose, and one of these type of ends. And you're gonna grab this thing and you're gonna blow all the dust off of it everywhere. Okay guys, we got all the dust off of it. The next steps are all super important. They're the most important. So remember, anywhere that you burn through in sanding, where like bare plastic is exposed, if you just paint this, it's gonna show. It's gonna have like a funny wrinkle to it. I'll show you how to avoid that. Same with the aluminum. If you don't put the right products on here, it will just flake off. So I will take you through the whole process. So the first thing you gotta do, guys, is you gotta grab this stuff here. Silicone wash and wax remover. This is like this stuff you wipe a car down with before you paint it. This gets rid of any oils, armorals. The paint will fisheye without this stuff. So you put some in a squirty bottle, you make sure you label it so nobody gets poisoned with it, and you spray it on and you wipe it off with a rag. And you basically wipe it till this stuff disappears. Really, really good. You get the idea, right guys? Everywhere that's gonna get painted. I'll even do a better job than that, but this is just for the video. So that's what you do. See, it dries quick, guys. Okay, let me do that off camera. So yeah, I'm just prepping this now so I can hang it and paint it, right? So I just put a screw in, a wire. Also this stuff, guys, let me just quickly take you to the store. I want you guys to understand what you're buying. I'll show you like different brands of this exact same stuff. You could show the guys at the Automotive paint store a screenshot of this. They'll know what it is. Okay, I'm gonna go prep this, guys, after I show you the quick visit to the store. Here we are at the store. Here is one brand, and here is another brand of the same stuff, basically. All right, let's go home. All right, guys, well, it looks like it might rain, so I decided to hang these up in here. So if it rains, they're not gonna get rained on. So the next move, guys, is yes, there is the lint on these. Believe it or not, there is lint on there that you can't even see. So you gotta get one of these, a tag cloth. You get these at Automotive paint stores. Show them this. They'll sell you one, they're like $2. You pull it out and you wipe these down with it really good all around, and that will get the lints off. So I'm gonna do that off camera. You just go around, you know, nothing really to it. So that's your next step, guys. So the second I'm done wiping these, we'll move on to the paints. There's lots of different stuff you gotta know. Okay, mirrors are wiped, ready to be painted. Here is the mistake that people make all the time. So anytime you're painting a car or aluminum or any exposed metal whatsoever, like even steel on a car, if you just paint your car right over top of the steel, anywhere you got bare metal, it's just gonna flake off. It's not gonna stick to it. What you have to use on bare metal or on aluminum, like in our case, is called Self-etching primer, guys. I mean, you can buy it in a can. It's the only can of stuff that I would recommend to use is Self-etching primer. So you can buy it in a spray can, and before you put anything else on, you gotta have a coat of this on any bare metal areas. You have to have it. So like I said, Self-etching primer, you can get it at, you know, Canadian Tire, Napa, probably any Automotive paint stores. I buy it like this because this is $33, and this will last me like a lifetime, honestly. When you put it in a gun versus a can, it's like 20 something dollars, and you know, you'll go through it pretty quick. So this is the better deal, and I already have, you know, paint guns and that. We will get to that in this video. So this is what you got to do first. So I'm gonna grab my gun. I'll quickly explain to you how to use a gun right now. Okay, so in order to use a paint gun, you can use a bigger one, a smaller one. This is about $50. This is about $25. I'm just gonna use my little one. I have had this for like 15 years. I will have a link to a video on how to clean a gun, so you can check it out. If you clean it good, these last forever. So what you need on a gun, and there's no exceptions, you need one of these. Show this at the Automotive store, 20 bucks. This will collect any water that's in your hose. If you don't have one of these, it literally will ruin your paint job. You'll get a little bit of water splatting out and it will ruin your paint job. So you have to have one of these plastic bubbles that collect water, and you gotta have a regulator. You're gonna need, you know, a decent sized compressor if you're painting a whole car. If you're just painting a mirror, you could even get away with a tiny compressor, but that's about $150. You're gonna need a hose. Realistically, if you buy all this stuff, it's not even much. Like, you'll have it for your whole life, and your paint jobs, anything you work on, will be 100 times better, because paints and cans suck. When you use actual Automotive paints, mwah. Okay, we'll get to that. Okay, this is how you set up a paint gun. Really nothing to it. So basically, you push this thing in, right? You spin this part out, and then as you're spinning it in, the second you feel this trigger move forwards, just a tiny bit, there, that's where you want it. Get it? If you put it back, it'll go like a millimeter. Right there. So that's where you want this part. This other part, you basically put it all the way, and then you turn it back, just like a quarter turn. Just like that. This is like the fan pattern. So you can try it out on a piece of cardboard and fine tune it, but it's usually max minus like a tiny bit. So that's that. Then you're gonna hook up this. And the way you set this guy, see, watch, you hold the trigger down, and that's when you set it, as the trigger is being pressed. So you hold it down, and you want it, let's say at 50, okay? Between 45 and 55. So, see, and then you, see what I mean? A little bit less. So this gun is set up and ready to go. Painting time. One more thing I forgot to mention. So in here, there is a little filter like this. So that just goes in there. See? And you put this on. That way, if a little chunk falls in from your can or something, the filter will catch it. Okay, let's go open up the paint. So obviously mix it up really good if it's been sitting in your basement for a long time. 5 minutes is the general rule. All right, you open it up. Whatever you don't use, you can dump back in. All right, let's go paint. Okay, so you should be wearing gloves, eye protection, 100%. Sometimes you can be opening like a hardener or something and splash out right in your eyes. It's actually happened to me before, and I was wearing safety goggles, thank God. You have to wear one of these. You don't want to breathe these chemicals. It will give you cancer. So I'm going to get suited up and let's go paint the mirrors. Okay, so basically when I'm painting this, I'm going to use one hand to hold this, right? Because once you start painting it, these will just start flying around everywhere. So I'm going to have a glove on. I'm going to hold it like this and then psh, 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 get it? I'm going to put that self-etching primer. I'm going to make sure it covers all the aluminum up really good. And then I'm going to put a light coat on the whole entire mirrors, guys. I will show you why in the next step. So I'm going to cover the whole entire mirrors. This one doesn't have any exposed aluminum at all, but I'm going to put a light coat of the self-etching primer on this as well. See, there is areas where it's sanded all the way through to the plastic. It wasn't me. These were like that when I got them, but there was like a chip right here, so I sanded it. So now you got bare plastic. So that's the reason we're gonna put the self-etching primer completely on both of these. I'm gonna do that right now. Up here too. See what I mean if you don't hold it? Anyways, you get the idea. I'm gonna do the other one. Okay, so you don't need to sand that. You don't really need to do anything. You wait about 10-15 minutes and you're ready for the next stage, guys. If you left that till the next day, that paint would dry to the point where you would have to re-scuff it for the next coat of paint to stick to it. But if you only wait 15 minutes, even an hour, let's say, you're good to put the next primer on, but we're only gonna wait 15 minutes. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna use, guys, is this stuff right here, guys. This is 2K urethane high build primer, guys. Do not use the primers in a can. They honestly suck. They take forever to dry, and they never really get rock hard where they're really, really easy to sand. See, this has a hardener in it. So what you do is you put 4 parts paint, 1 part hardener, right? You mix it, you throw it in your gun, and then you're gonna put like 3 or 4 coats on those mirrors. And this color of primer is a little bit different of a color than the color of the self-etching primer. So later when we're sanding, if we start to burn through because we're sanding too much, you're gonna see the etching primer. So then you know, oh, okay, I'm going too deep. So that's why we self-etched the whole mirrors. So I'm gonna shake this up really good, mix it up. I'm gonna put it in this thing, mix it 4 to 1. This is really, really good stuff, guys. I think this was $66. And I have had this forever. Like, I have done so much stuff with it. You put a little bit in a gun and it lasts so long. It's perfect. It's good for bumpers. It's good for everything. The only thing is, if you have bare metal, you have to self-etch it first. Make sense? Or aluminum. But this can go over top of the self-etching primer. And then that will get out any deep scratches that we made on the aluminum when we use the 40 grit. You get what I'm saying? So this is the stuff, guys. Very, very good product. There is other brands that will do pretty much the same thing, but it's got to be a paint with a hardener, and you have to spray it out of a gun, guys, especially when you got deep scratches like that. Okay, let's mix it up. Okay, guys, so I was just about to clean this gun. So I got some, this is like $60, I think I paid for this. Look how huge this thing is. Like, you know what I mean? I've been using this for years. That's what you clean your gun with. This is the best deal. You buy a big bucket of it. The problem is my trigger just broke on this gun, so it's actually garbage. So 15 years for 25 bucks, not bad. So we're gonna be using a different gun, so we don't have to clean it in between. I mean, since it just went from one primer to another, I would have just rinsed it out. Like, I wouldn't have full out cleaned it until I go to the white. But in this case, I'm just gonna take this air water remover thing off, take the regulator off, put on my other gun, and this one's going in the garbage, unfortunately. Okay, guys, so here it is, one coat. It goes on so thick and so nice. So we're gonna wait 15-20 minutes for this to dry. It is cold here, so maybe even 25 minutes. I'm gonna do one more coat on these, and just a light coat for the second one. But I am gonna get like the aluminum part, because there's gonna be some sanding going on there. I'm gonna maybe put 2 more coats on that, or just one more thicker coat. So, I mean, I don't really need to show that. You guys get what's going on here. So once I got 2 coats on this with a thicker coat on the aluminum, I will get back to you. Okay, guys, so I ended up putting on 3 coats onto the mirrors. They look really good. Everything's covered nice. It is on a little thick, which is fine because we're gonna be sanding those still. So what you gotta do now is we have to wait 24 hours for that to be rock hard dry. That's what you got to do in order to block it out and have it be perfect. So I'm going to clean this gun, guys, to make it last 15 years like the other one did. There'll be a link in the description on how to do that. I'm not going to put that in this video, but I got to clean it because the next paint that's going in here is going to be white, which we will talk about.
So I'm going to fast forward till 24 hours from now, right now.
Okay, guys, it is the next day. Normally I would be wearing a mask for this, but I'm not, just for video purposes, so I can talk to you guys. So here's the mirror. See, it's nice and dry, ready to go. So now you grab 320 grit sandpaper, and so you have to get all these little bumpinesses off. You see those? So you're just gonna go around, and it doesn't take much, I'm telling you. Watch, I'll show you in real time. See, look. That's how you want it, right there. The whole thing. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna sand it by hand like that. But the only thing you're gonna really be careful with is you don't wanna sand the edges because you don't wanna burn through to the black underneath. So you're gonna go just up to the edges like this. See, just like that. Yeah, you can see that on camera. And you're gonna leave that for now. And then once you got the whole mirror done, like same in here, you're just gonna go in here, right? Like look at this part. See the bumpiness on it? Can you see that? Yes, you can. So same thing, you don't wanna burn through on the edge. Anywhere that the aluminum comes through again, you're gonna have to etch prime it before you paint it with the etching primer. So you would just go psh, psh, light coat, and then you can just put the final coat on 10 minutes later, like the white. But in our case, I already did the other mirror, and I managed to do the whole other mirror, check it out, without burning through anywhere. So anyways, so you sand it the way I said, right up to the edges. So like here, for example. So you're just gonna sand the flat surface like this. See? Right there. See, just like that. So you're gonna do this whole thing, but when you do this edge, you're not gonna use the sandpaper to sand the edge because it will burn through right away. For the edge, you're gonna use this thing. Get it? And you're just gonna go, it has to have a scuff on it. See, just like that. So that's how you do the edge. That's it. It's scuffed, paint will stick to it. Anything more than that will burn through. In here, I mean, you're gonna get in with your sandpaper best you can in these cracks. See? Can you see that? Yeah. See, it doesn't take much. Same thing when you get to this edge, just get to the edge, and inside of this little crack, you're gonna use this guy here, right? And then the edge around the mirror, same thing. You're gonna go up to it as close as you can, and then you might take your sandpaper and just go over it really lightly. Just like that, nothing more than that. And then the rest of it, you're gonna do with this. And I am doing this in real time. So like, this part is done already. That's all you gotta do. You get in here, you know, you move your mirror. You get what I'm saying? That's all you gotta do. The whole entire mirror, there can't be any shiny spots on it, see? It all has to look like this, guys. Okay, I'm gonna do this one just like I got this one done. If you burn through, you're gonna have to edge primer it, but if you're really careful, you won't. Okay, I'm doing this right now off camera. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. So see, right here is a good example. See, look, I burned through to the aluminum. So I will have to hit this with just that self-etching primer before I paint the white. That's why it's good to have a can of that stuff on hand, because I would hate to have to clean a gun just for one little spot. So see, all this aluminum that we repaired, see, watch, you can see it. So I mean, you're not gonna get it perfectly smooth because it was bumpy. So what you gotta do is, you gotta go, just try to get a little bit of the bumps off here. See, look. If you go too much, you're gonna burn through. So I mean, boom, see right there? See how there's like some of those little imperfections there? So don't worry about those, because when you get to that point, I mean, you're not gonna really notice it honestly after, but see, then you grab this guy and you just so the paint sticks to it, but this way you don't risk burning through on a corner like that, see? It's not like 100% smooth, because if you wanted it perfectly smooth, you would have to block it out and then re-primer it with that thick primer again and do it again. You might even have to do it 3 times. So I'm only gonna do it the 1 time because you're barely gonna notice that, I'm telling you. So, okay, so I'm doing this whole thing like that. Yeah, it's going good. Okay, it's been another about 5 minutes. This thing is done. So now, see, look up close. Some of the little spots, see? If you see any kind of little whatevers, shiny spots, you don't want to go in too deep, so you just grab this guy. Right, you do the whole thing. You do the edges. So this thing is gonna be done in about 10 seconds. Well, a minute it's gonna take me just to, you know? Okay, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do with this one little spot where I burned through, since I don't want to clean my gun just for one little wee spot. So, okay, I'll be right back. Okay, mirror is ready. So now, if I had a can here, I would just go, psh, but I don't. So I'm gonna put a little bit of the etching primer on my finger. Don't judge me for this, guys. I've done it before, it's not a big deal. See, and just go. Just like that. Right? And I'm gonna give that about 10 minutes. This dries fast. And then I'm just super lightly gonna go over it with this. As long as it doesn't burn through, good enough. Okay, let's quickly talk paint and what kind of paint we're gonna use. So what I did is I went to an automotive paint store This is not the original color of the car. It was white before, but somebody at some point repainted it. So anyways, so I took this gas cap off. I brought the gas cap to the store and I asked them to match it up. So you definitely have options. Do not use spray cans. It's not gonna look good. You can go base coat, clear coat. That's one option. It's an expensive option. Or what you can do is use a single stage paint with a hardener. That's what I'm using. It's called Limco 3. Check it out. So here it is. It's all matched up. You're gonna need a paint, a reducer, and a hardener. These last long time. I've had a few of these from before, so all I had to buy is the paint. You basically mix it 4 parts paint, 1 part hardener, 2 parts reducer. And I mean, as you can see, there's lots of different paints they sell. Urethane, acrylic enamels. They're all good, so don't be scared to ask questions at the store, guys. Ask away. There's different pricing, but it has to be a paint with a hardener that you put into a gun. Don't use a spray can. They don't last, they don't look good. So when mixing paint, you're gonna basically pour it into one of these. See, there's little measurements on the side, so you can go like, 4 parts paint, 1 part hardener, 1 part reducer. Mix it in here, put it in your gun. Always put paint through a strainer so it catches anything. And also, if you buy these little cups in an automotive store, clean it out with the same solution we wipe the mirrors down with, and then use that little tag cloth to get any lints out. So this has got no armorals or greases in it. And that's that. So I'm gonna start mixing up the paint. That one spot's basically ready to be sanded really quickly. I'll still show you that. And then we're gonna do probably 4 really light coats on those mirrors. Okay, so I hung them up, I blew them off, and I went around and wiped them nicely with this. So they're completely lint free, guys. Everything is looking good. The only thing we didn't do is normally I would take the wax and silicone remover, wipe them down, and then wipe them with that little rag. And then right before I put the white paint on, I would take a can of self-etching primer and just mist that one spot on, wait 5 minutes, and then start painting white. Well, since I didn't have a can and I did that earlier, I can't really put the silicone and wax remover on this because it will melt that corner a little bit. So, I mean, they're degreased because this is all brand new paint. So that's the only thing I did out of order a little bit, but it should be fine. Okay, let's go mix up some paint, guys. Okay, guys, paint is mixed up. I'm basically ready to go. So this gun, to set this gun up, the pressure, so this gun's different. It's a HVLP gun. So any gun that says HVLP on it, you want to spray 25 PSI to 30 PSI of pressure on your regulator. The other one was just a regular gun from like 15 years ago. Those are more pressure, 45, 50, around there. So anytime it says that, I'm gonna spray at 30, I'm gonna set this to 30. I've shown you how to do that before, so I'll just do it right now off camera, set it up, put the paint in, and let's go spray. Okay, just in case you weren't paying attention, you press the trigger. See? 30. Perfect. Okay, guys, so there we have it. Coat number 1. It's hard to get into those spots. You're basically only really focusing on those spots when you're spraying it, like try to get in there, try to get in there, and then that's it. You gotta wait 15 minutes. Don't put too much paint on. See, it's on light. That's how you want it. I got the tops. Okay, coat number 1 done. Okay, guys, second coat down. I'm gonna do 2 or 3 more coats, depending on what it looks like. But I'm gonna skip all that. It's pretty obvious. Just super light, thin coats, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna fast forward till it's all done so I can show you what it looks like.
I'm fast forwarding right now.
Okay guys, so as you can see, there it is. Looking beautiful, shiny. I mean, how much better could it really look? Does the camera do it justice? Let's find out. Look at that. Shine and beauty. So that's how it's done, guys. That's the order of things. I'm gonna close this up, let these dry for 2 days before I even touch them, maybe even 3. They both turned out incredible, as you can see, guys. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe. That's what we need here, subscriptions.